Hello, welcome to Animazing, the stories of Kevin Seymour. I'm your host, Aramis, and this is another production log. Where to start? So, first of all, hi everybody. It's been a minute. I know that the interviews haven't been coming out very often, and I'm still trying to find my footing on the review sections. I really am. I don't want them to be bland, and to be honest, I've been very self-critical of myself. I've tried recording a few of them, and I'm just not feeling it right now. I need to find a better way to do it. With that being said, where have I been? I've been busy with gigs, back-to-back gigs, audio gigs, working with some amazing people, which has helped me get potential interviews. I have a few lined up. Some of them, of course, I will be putting on the podcast here. Others, I will be saving the footage for the documentary and only the documentary. I know I made a few connections recently where I'm really crossing my fingers they come through because it will be a huge boon to the project. Now, to kind of catch up on a bit of my watch history for the research, I've just wrapped up watching Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, the first season, so not second gig. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. The Tachikomas, to me, were a huge standout, and I was trying to do some review work on that, but after listening to the episode and getting a little bit of feedback, I realized my approach didn't work the way that I wanted, so I think I'm actually going to start bundling some of these into like micro reviews into these productions. But, with that said, Season 1, great. I know second gig is the next season I got to watch, so I will be tackling that. First, though, I'm also watching El Hazard at the recommendation of many of the main cast members. So far, I've seen the first few episodes. It's a lot of fun. It's very funny. Both, I think it was Michael Sorich and Leah Sargent, both recommended me the show. And overall, their performances thus far have been very humorous. The rest of the cast has been phenomenal thus far. And I look forward to watching all four, I think it's seasons. I know some of them are OVA, some of them are anime series. It just depends on what they're classified as. Other than that, I know after I get back from the show I have this weekend, I'm trying to get my buddy Aiden in the booth with me. We're going to do a review of Perfect Blue. I want to try doing a back and forth with one of my friends rather than doing my own review of something. See how that goes. And he is a huge Satoshi Kon fan. So Paprika and all those films. So I feel like Perfect Blue is going to be a good one. We already have some stuff we want to talk about. And overall, just choices between the dub and the sub. Since he is more of a fan of the Japanese, I'm actually a bit more of a fan of the English, but I'm a little bit biased. Other than that, of course, I still need to watch Orgus. That is still on the list. I've been backed up on things. And yeah, honestly, progress is coming along good. So this is going to be, kind of the norm. So that means I can have consistency coming out on the episodes. So I'm not just going weeks and weeks and weeks without anything coming out. And because I'm about to get really busy traveling for a bunch of these shows and gigs, I do want to start getting these out. I can record these on the road, so the audio quality might not be the best, and I can actually talk about what I've been working on. Another thing that has been coming along a lot better has been my archive. The archive specifically, I think I was working on Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. That one was a lot of fun. And I was actually able to work out a really interesting bug in my software because of it. Specifically, the fact that whenever a special character, so like Juzo or any of the U's, the O's, any of those special characters that aren't part of your alphanumeric, my program, which if you're not familiar with programming, this might go over your head, but I write all my code in Java, and I use specifically an array list, which means it's a lot more dynamic than a typical array. And I went through my CSV file, which is how I input all my data, and then that then spits out all my HTML code. For the most part, I still have to make a few tweaks here and there, specifically with some dates, some of the more simple stuff, but all of my bulk casting is done via my CSV file. And it helps a lot, especially when you're going with multi-episode series or have a large cast. So like Akira has a large cast, or Ghost in the Shell, Code Geass. Those anime TV shows are going to have a large cast just because of the episodic nature. I also like how I divided the cast list based off of your main cast members who are reoccurring enough to be considered main cast members. And then I have a section them off via episodes, episode 1, 2, 3, all the way to the last one. And anytime that character appears in that episode, for my minor characters, I include their credit in there. Especially considering some of these characters had recasts for one episode. I think in Ghost there was one where Jameson took over for an episode and then it flipped back to, I don't know if it was Tom Weiner or somebody else with that low registry, but I like having that, so that means you can just scroll down. I will not be including the episode names in that description. They'll be in the proof sections just because some of those episode names are really, really long. But I am almost done with that one. I know I just need to put in my crew list, which includes, Kevin Seymour, Mary Claypool, Les Claypool, your usual suspects for your crew. And then I just got to change some dates and make sure all of the picture assets that I've been pulling load properly. From there, I'm going to pivot to some of the shorter, smaller ones. That means I can have more up, because right now I think I only have 3 to 4 pages up right now, which is not good. I need more up, so that means it looks bigger. Plus, to be honest, I should be further than I am. I've been working my butt off on it, but because I am the only programmer, it takes me a very long time to code. So I'm hoping that with my new program that I made, that I'll be able to just put all of my data in my Excel sheet and overall be able to just pump and go. Lastly, I mentioned this earlier, but I'm traveling for this week. I will be in New Jersey for a gig. And then after that, I have gigs all over mostly in Texas, but I have a few lined up for, I think it's Orlando, Minneapolis. There's a few gigs that I'll be having around the country, which I'm excited for. And then lastly, I do plan on either going for like a small little crowd fund or saving up some of my gig money to travel to California to start collecting more footage for the documentary, potentially meet up with some of the important people for the documentary, talk with them, potentially get some interview footage there in person rather than remote like I've been doing for all the other interviews, just because of budget and time. But I really want to start getting more professional looking footage potentially. I might also reach out to one of my contacts in California to see if I can set something up like that. I do not know yet. I'm working on it. Other than that, though, the project to honor Kevin is coming along really nicely, in my opinion. It does suck that, everyone's been so busy. Good for them. It sucks for me. But when I can't get an interview with someone because they're busy with work, and that's everyone for the most part, it holds up a lot of the work that I want to do. That's why I've been trying to pivot and do a lot of the stuff that I don't need the interviews for. But I do want to get further and get more footage, because I have been experimenting with documentary formatting. I've been going back to some of my old history of film textbooks, some of my filmography textbooks, and figuring out how I want to structure and frame this. And I've been doing some preliminary, I don't want to call it storyboarding because that isn't right, but essentially storyboarding for the documentary to figure out where I want certain stories, or I think I was more thinking of beginning, middle, end. The Books of Nippon era, the early LA Hero Animaze era, then the middle Animaze era, and then I'd probably cap it with the end Animaze era, so probably 4. But that's essentially the goal. Lastly, the physical archive. I got a few new things on the shelf finally. My buddy Juan, who runs Unesthetics, he is a retro anime collectibles vendor. He goes around the country, vends across the country, and buys off a bunch of these old retro bulk sets. So he's the one who I bought. Yeah, I bought, I think recently, a copy of like Ghost in the Shell for DVD. I bought Orgus 2 from him. I just recently got a Tachikoma plushie, an officially licensed one from Standalone Complex. I just want to say shout out to him. If you are local to Texas, or if you go to any shows and you see his booth, he usually has a giant Miku standee. He's not hard to miss, but he's a really cool guy. I recommend checking out his booth. He always has really good stuff, and he has been a huge support on this project, just from an archiving standpoint and from a knowledge base, because he is knowledgeable in the 80s and 90s anime, where I am lacking. Most of my knowledge, of course, is early 2000s, and of course the video game market. To cap things off, I do want to give another huge shout out to sponsor for my show, Pop Soap, the leaders of the soap revolution. I am just starting to grow some facial hair at the behest of my wife, and right now I've been using their body oils and their bar soaps. I love them very much. Go check out their website, popsoapshop.com. I just started trying out their beard oil, because for me, I have a sensitive face. I don't like how my beard feels on my face, but with their beard oil, it helps out a lot. It gives it moisture. It means I don't have to, dab water on it. And overall, it makes it feel fuller. And of course, their regular products I use daily. To be honest, they are my exclusive soap brand. They don't irritate my skin. Their flavors and their scents are really nice. I'm a huge fan of their Rocky Horror Picture Show body oil. It smells phenomenal. And then their current soap that is currently on my soap to-go thing that I take with me is, I think it's Dragon Bar Z. Very anime themed, but I love it. Check out their stuff. Use code Animaze15 at checkout to save 15% off. That is ANIMAZE15 at checkout to save 15% off your order. Also, if you see them at a show, tell them Aramis says hi. They're amazing people, and I love that they are supporting this project. It means the world to me. Other than that, I still plan on releasing more content related to the actual animes and to Kevin, but as it stands right now, I want to make sure I'm happy with what I'm releasing, and I'm not just releasing stuff that I would consider slop, which, to be honest, some of my old videos I do consider not my best quality of work. With that being said, the next production log, I'm most likely going to be going over some writing that I'm going to be doing, and overall talking about some of where I'm at with both the archive, my watch history, and if I have any interviews scheduled. So till next time, please, by all means, I have interviews up with Doug Stone, Mimi Woods, Tom and Dot, Fawn. I'm working on Jonathan. I got you. You got me. I got you. But overall, thank you all so much for continuing to listen to the podcast and listen to me babble on. That is a good song. Also, check out Babylon on The Just. If you go to the website, animazeinc.com, you go to the Animazing link, scroll down to the bottom, you will find The Just. Down there, you can click on side A or side B, and one of the songs is called Babylon. Alrighty, I'm going to let Kevin play us out, and I will see y'all next time. If you're on YouTube, please, or Spotify, or wherever you listen to your stuff, please subscribe. So that means you can be, notified when these videos come out. And on the platforms that have notifications, please, by all means, throw on those notifications so you know when I release episodes. You can also find me on Instagram at Aramis Babcock. I do most of my announcements there. I am potentially working on a separate Instagram, but for right now, it is just tied to my personal. Thank y'all again, and good night.